Hi, my name is Margaret Jackson. I'm a grandparent of one beautiful boy. Joel came to live with me when he was 3 years old. I had retired from work. His mother was working full-time, so he came to stay with me from Sunday evening through to Friday evening, and then he'd go home to his mum on weekends.
My name is Frida. I became a grandparent 13 years ago. I've had my eldest granddaughter with me since she was newborn. The reason for that is circumstances with my daughter. She couldn't have her, so I was the next best thing, and then I said to her that I would help look after her for a few years, but it's worked out. I've had her a little bit longer than we thought.
I'm Ray. I'm raising two grandsons, now 20 and 22. They were 8 months old and 12 months old. The atmosphere that Daniel was being raised in, and the constant fighting and the constant alcohol and things, he was not getting the care and attention that he should have been getting. And his mum, because of it, was quite, out of it, stressed. Depression and all that sort of thing.
My name is Michael Whitehead. I'm the manager of Ride Family Support Service. I've been the manager for about 5 years, which is about the same time we've been running a grandparent carers support group. There's a myriad of challenges that grandparents have to meet. The first one, of course, is the immediate shock of having grandchildren in most cases just foisted on them and landing on their doorstep in traumatic circumstances.
There were times when I sort of thought, should I take her or should I just leave her with the mum? I didn't know for sure how the connection between the three of us, how it would be. But because we had a really strong connection from the beginning, she more or less wanted to be with me.
Emotionally wise, when you take them on, or when you're looking at taking them on, it's a drain. It is definitely a drain. You can see the behaviour of their parents towards these kids and their lack of care of these kids, and situations that they were put in that were not in their interests or safe.
I had to go back to the school system where I had to take her to school. I had to put her into after-school care because I finished work at 5. Things like that was, a little bit hard for me at times.
Just getting into a routine was the main thing. Just, working out your times to go shopping and getting their sleep patterns in order and all the rest.
I actually did 3 parenting courses because when I had my kids and they were young, it was totally different, and I never had this problem to deal with. So I did the parenting courses so that I would know how to deal with it.
It's a difficult time, and it's more difficult if you're planning for retirement, or you are retired, or you're looking to a future. You've earned you spent your time earning your money. You want to go on a trip. You're looking forward to retirement, and all of a sudden, you've got responsibilities, and they're big responsibilities.
You don't get to go on the holidays that you used to be able to and all the rest. You're sort of fairly restricted in that now, where you can go, and cost-wise again for that. But we go in the snow once a year, and that's good. And, if we can get away sort of just for a day out, is as good as a holiday probably.
It was just really, really difficult at that time because I've been working as well, and trying to juggle her and work was a bit hard for me at first. But, I've had lots of my family members come and help me as well. My sisters helped with rearing her as well. Because with Aboriginal families, we all tend to look for extended family members to help rear a child in the family.
It's also emotionally involved because you're fighting either your daughter or your son, and you'd really like to see them raising the kids, not you. So it's an up and down ride all the way, it really is.
Situation now is not very good. Things have changed. The relationship with his mother has gone downhill because she got involved with a guy who has physically, mentally and verbally abused Joel in some awful ways. and docs have become involved. This has made parenting for me very much harder for Joel because his mother now resists my involvement with him and she's tried to stop me from seeing him. It's going now through the courts and things are being turned around.
It is a challenge sometimes to be looking after your grandchild, but I see if I could change her life and make her life better, make her a better person, well, the end result is, positive for me.
As far as the future is concerned, I will always be there for Joel. Joel knows that I will always be there for him. As I get older, I know that I'm not going to be there all the time. That's why I'm hoping that now that things have started to turn around, the relationship between Joel and his father will gradually build. Because his father's been denied from seeing him very much over the last 2 years, then they're building up their relationship again so that Lee will understand Joel and what his needs are, and gradually he can take over my role and responsibility, and I'm sure he will do that.
When the boys get older, I'd like to see them, get their own relationships, get their a little place, have a job. The main thing in life, I think, is to have a job and have somebody beside you, and encourage that. And I'm not keen to have them move out just yet, but I think the family is definitely important. And when you come from a broken home, it's probably a lot harder.
I'm hoping that Nakia is going to be a very, how can I put it? She's going to be a very social person. She can be a bit shy at times, but I'm trying to sort of teach her to get out there and be in the community. So I take her to NAIDOC, I take her to anything I have to do in the community. I take all of the kids with me, and they're doing Welcome to Country at their schools, representing their family in whatever. So, it's just making them aware they are Aboriginal, they do have a culture. They do Aboriginal dancing, they do Welcome to Country, so I'm handing down to them things that I do.
I find the joy of raising them has been in teaching them things, teaching them in sport, teaching them with their schooling, just general things that they weren't learning down where they were living. You've been able to sort of steer them in the right direction as such. And support them when they've needed support. So, yeah, it's been great.
It's essential for grandparents to look after themselves because if they're not in good health, then how are they going to look after their grandchildren?
For me to be in a good, healthy state and a good mental state will be beneficial for him. If I let myself go to pieces, then I'm not going to be very good for him. And I'm not going to let that happen.
I make sure I do a lot of self-care. I have time out for myself. I always allow for myself to do something. So, and Nakia knows that. So we have this connection where I say I need to have time away to get myself together, and because I work and look after her, I really need to do something for myself.
Raising 2 young kids is a big job, and they're full of energy. They're definitely full of energy, into everything, and it takes a bit out of you.
One of the problems that grandparents have, they're no longer younger, and at the end of the day, after looking after grandchildren, they're probably exhausted. So. And then the same thing starts again. Next day you've got to get the kids to school, and there may be very little time for yourself.
It's a bit hard. I've put on a lot of weight, and I think it's having her milkshakes, half her milkshakes. But no, you don't spend as much time worrying about what you should be worrying about your eating and the likes. But it's worth it.
What we've done here, we've had dietitians come in and talk to the grandparents. We recommend that if they can get exercise and if they get the time to do that, then to exercise.
I'm a diabetic type 2. I take my medication, I exercise, I run around like a chook with no head on all the time. I keep myself involved with tutoring people in Christian community aid. I do whatever's necessary I volunteer at the school. I probably volunteer too much, I think. Yeah, but I keep myself active.
Well, I temp involved. It's, I get involved with the grandparents group. I'm involved in the church down there at the Baptist church that runs the grandparents group, and just get involved with the kids and the things they do. And we go out, we do a bit of shopping, we go out on the train sometimes, or
I sit and watch TV and I do my crafts at home. I do give myself time, and I spend every other Saturday. I'll be with my daughters. I go to shopping. We go for coffee, and we just do girly things together.
My sisters sometimes take her for the weekend and I'll do whatever I need to do. And if she needs to have time out from me, she does that as well. She'll go with her cousins and stay with them, and yeah, it's worked out pretty good.
The school also gave me respite, in as much as when it was school holidays, there would be 2 days each week of the school holidays where he was going to vacation care, and the school actually funded that. So he got to go on excursions and he got to spend time with other children. So he wasn't stuck with his nan for the whole of the school holidays.
Grandparents Carer Support Group is for grandparents who have the primary control of their grandchildren. And these grandchildren may come to them in one form or another, but it's usually traumatic, whatever that form may be. So we find that it's an essential part of how they survive is having the support group.
The first thing I would recommend is to find a group like the one I'm involved with here, because the support that's received through the grandparents is fantastic. We exchange stories, we exchange hints, what we can do. I think that's the most important thing, is to get a support group, enjoy your grandchild, and if you're having problems, talk to somebody.
You might be surprised to find that your situation is not uncommon, and somebody else has been in that situation and they can help you. And that's what we find here with our support group. Somebody will come up with a problem and somebody else in the group will say, well, I've experienced that and this is what we did and this is who we contacted.
I think in the first place, because we were having so much drama with court, and you feel when you join it, actually, you walk in, you think, oh, I'm on my own here, I'm the only one, but you're not by a long shot. And just to sit down and hear other people and to find some people that are a lot worse off sort of helps you too, and helps everybody when they talk about their problems. And we get a lot of advice from each other and a lot of suggestions, and that's great.
I've fortunate to have the experience of running a great support group with great grandparents, is the connection with other grandparents who have been through the same situation, because their advice, you just can't get it anywhere else, and it's free, it's great advice. They've been through it themselves, they know what the pitfalls are, they know what the problems are.
We sit round, we have people come in from docs or the police or, different organisations to let us know, what we can do, what help we can get. And sometimes we don't have anybody, we just all sit around and talk and, have a good time. So, but it's very supportive. We used to once a year meet with the grandparents and the grandkids, and it gave them all an opportunity to, see they weren't on their own with that, though there were others around in the same predicament. So that was good. It's good for the kids as well as for the grandparents.
Generally in their location there should be a family support service that they can go to. They would get a family support worker appointed for them, and the family support worker would help them through some of these situations that they find themselves in. So that's what happens here. I run the support group, but they also can have access to a family support worker that can sit down with them and discuss their problems and see what's available in the area. So it's sort of a combination, I guess. They have the support group on one hand and they have an individual worker on the other hand.
Whatever I needed, there was somebody here. Even when it's matters of going to court, Michael Whitehead, who runs this place, he's been there by my side. He's helped me through every situation and encouraged me, and he's been very supportive of both myself and Joel.